Good day, doodlers! Welcome to Draw Cartoons. The Captain Marvel movie is out and I'm super excited to go and see it. Here's a tutorial for how to draw her. Make sure you watch the whole video or you might miss a useful trick. You're going to need a pencil, paper, an eraser, and a Sharpie to go over your sketch with. Let's go! Let's get started. But first, if you want to learn to draw the fast and easy way, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. Let's begin! So with your pencil at the ready, let's begin by drawing the shape of the head. Now the head's going to be a really tall circle, like a tall oval as we usually do. So I'm just going to kind of sketch that shape in now. It's going to look a bit like a balloon really by the time we're done with it. As usual I suppose. And once you've drawn that, cut it right down the middle. This is our line of symmetry. That's how we start all of our drawings. Try not to move it around too much for you. Okay, so draw that line down past the balloon until we get to about 2.5 heads in total height. There's half a head here, there's another head about here, and obviously the head that we started with. So once you get to that point, just draw a line right across the bottom, and that's where the kind of the floor is, and that's where we know where to draw the feet. So now we'll start to draw in the shapes of the body. We'll come away from the chin with a small curve on each side, and starting here I'm going to start to draw a line that goes down, curves in a little bit, that's where the waist is going to be, and curving out for the hips. Okay, once you've drawn that, do it on the other side. So we're going to curve in a little bit and then go out. We're going to leave lots of room for the legs that are going to go here right now. So continuing on from here, I'm just going to draw a line that goes diagonally down a bit, and once I get to that about this level here, I'm going to draw a bump that kind of comes out. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and you should end up with fairly equal proportions, the legs being probably a little bit longer than the torso here. If it helps, once you've drawn this big line of symmetry here, you can draw a small line here, and that's where you know where the bottom of the torso is and where the very top of the legs are. But if you're feeling confident, you can go right for drawing the shape of the outside body right away. So I'm going to draw in the heel and the inside leg here, and then just the part where they meet there, and then we'll come back down for the other heel. So now we've got more or less the shape of our character's body. I'm just going to draw along here for the arms. She's going to have her arms at her sides, so no further than where the hip starts to bump out. Draw a line across and then back up towards the chest. And of course we need to do the same on the other side. So we'll draw a curving line down, a line that goes straight across, that's where the wrist is, where we're going to draw her hand later, and then just join it up with the underarm where the chest is just there. Now we've got all our basic shapes in now. So we've got a head, and we've got a torso, some arms, a leg. So we're actually going to go ahead and draw the face now. Now the easiest way to draw the face is cut it right across the middle here. And then we'll end up with 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to cut those in half as well, right across the middle. And you'll see why we're doing this in just a moment. It's actually to help guide us where all the different pieces of the face are going to be. So we'll begin with the eyes. I think the eyes are the easiest thing to start with. So I'm just going to draw a big sort of C shape for one eye here. It's a bit flatter at the bottom, like that. And it's within this kind of third section on the left. And of course there's another eye on the other side, and a bit flatter at the bottom. And let's draw in some nice tall pupils inside them. So these kind of look like really tall ovals with the tops hidden underneath the top eyelid, if you can kind of visualize that. So this is a pupil, this is a pupil, this is our whole eye going on here. Now we're going to give her some furrowed brows, kind of like she's frowning at us like we've done something wrong. Okay, make her look nice and tough, very strong. And then we'll draw in a small curve here for the nose that goes kind of just underneath this guideline, but right through this central guideline. That's all it has to be, just a small little bump there. And then the mouth, well, you can draw your mouth however you like. You can draw a big silly smile if you want. I'm not going to do that. I don't think it fits the eyebrows that we've drawn. So I'm going to draw kind of a very small mouth that slopes down at both sides. And then I'm going to draw in some lips, okay? So to do that, just kind of go up a little bit, down in the middle here, and then down towards the side of the mouth. And then I'm just going to draw a nice big kind of bottom lip going on here, and all I've done there is bridged from one side to the other with a nice kind of curve that does that sort of shape. So the face is already drawn pretty much, so now it's time to frame it with some hair. So the hair's really fun. I like to start right here in the middle. I'm going to draw a line that curves up like this and finishes where these lines meet right here. That's where her hair kind of parts. It's a parting of her hair. So I'll come away from here now. I'll start to draw some waves in. So she's got very wavy hair and it's always blowing in the wind. Whenever you see pictures of Captain Marvel, her hair's always waving around. So you can kind of do whatever you like at this point. Feel free to draw it how I'm drawing. I'm just drawing kind of curves that point away from the head. That's probably the best way to draw her hair, but really it's just a bunch of messy kind of curves and spikes when you get to the end of the hair, just like that. Make it nice and pointy and narrower at the end than it is here. Obviously it's much thicker here. So just kind of be a bit liberal with this. Draw whatever shapes you like. Lots of kind of curvy waves there. Okay, on this side I'm going to draw the fringe kind of coming down slightly over one of the eyes and then just kind of coming back up like this. And another one here to show her hair kind of blowing in the wind, as it always seems to be in all the posters you see of the character. And then I'm just going to draw some more curves here, maybe end there, and draw some more kind of behind her head here. So really it's all about kind of building up these wavy shapes. This is a really good, easy way to draw wavy hair and curly hair in the future. If you want to kind of take this away as a general tip, feel free to draw small little spikes of hair coming away to make it look a little bit messier. Maybe she's just finished in a fight and she's not had time to sort her hair out or something. I'm going to draw some lines here just to help kind of show that this is a parting in her hair. Now obviously you can see we've got loads of lines overlapping here. We've got the guidelines still showing up and it's making the whole thing probably a little bit more tricky to see, but don't worry about that. We're going to rub out all those guidelines later when we go over the whole drawing with a pen. So for now we'll start drawing in the rest of the details. I'm going to start with the hands. She's missing some hands, isn't she? So I'm going to start here. Coming away from this line here, I'm going to draw a thumb that curves out just a little bit, doesn't quite make it to the hip. Curves back in, and then a line that goes across, like that. And when we've drawn that, we're going to come away from the middle of that line and draw 3 curves, 1, 2, 3, and then come back to the wrist. And we get this kind of closed fist shape going on here. So obviously we're going to do that on both sides. I'm just going to show you that again. A thumb that curves out a bit. We draw a line across when it comes back in. And then continuing from the middle of that line, a curve that goes around and forms 3 wavy bumps, just like this. And straight away, really quick, we end up with 2 awesome looking fists. Very simple and really quick. So we'll draw in some gloves now. Now the gloves go about halfway up the arm, so I'm going to draw up along here, draw a line across like this, and come back down to the wrist. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Go up here, cut a line right across the middle of the arm, and then come back down to the wrist. So let's now add some detail to those gloves. I'm going to start right in the middle of this line up here, draw down a bit, and then draw a diagonal line that ends on the left side of this glove. And then just underneath that, another line just inside of it that goes down and meets with the wrist. Now obviously, same on the other side, right down the middle, diagonal line to the end, and then a line just inside it that kind of goes down just like that. Now we've got some very intricate patterns going on the torso, so we might as well get started on those. We've got her emblem to draw right here. Okay, so how I like to draw this, I'm just going to kind of solidify that line there, vertical line, and then cut right across it with a horizontal line, just like that, and then a diagonal line through here. So we're just making a star, right? And another diagonal line right there. Now that we've got those lines in, we know exactly how to draw the rest of this. So let's start from here, and we're just going to kind of draw this star pattern using the lines that we just drew as a guide for kind of which direction these points should be going in and roughly how long they should be. Ideally the diagonal points, like these ones, should be a little bit shorter than the ones at the the sides, the cardinal directions are called, north, south, west and east. Those ones should be a little bit longer if you want to get that emblem absolutely perfect. Once you've drawn it, you can draw a line across here, which goes up just to the side of her neck, and there's another line just kind of supporting it there. So let's make sure we draw that on the other side. We're going to come away from the diagonal part of the star there, curve away, go up to just under the chin there, just under the head, and then back to the star, just to kind of thicken that line out. Now we're going to draw a couple of curves here for her chest. So one there and one here, just either side of that star, just kind of framing the star. And she's got some markings on her shoulders, so we'll draw those in now. Coming away from the shoulder here, we're going to just kind of take this line up and finish about there, which is why we drew this line in just a moment ago. So again, about here on the shoulder, just kind of cut through the arm, and then draw the line up to get to that line right there. Now, finally for the chest, there's just kind of like a couple of lines here, just going straight down towards the star, because this area here is blue, and this is red. These two areas are red. So we're just going to kind of show that in our drawing. Now, there's a couple of lines that come away from the side of the torso, and go down to about here. Okay, so here's the other one. Goes away from this side, and then straight down. Now we can draw in her belt, and it seems almost every character I draw seems to have a belt. Belts are very popular, aren't they? So again, as usual, just a couple of straight lines that go right across the waist, just like that. Now in the middle, there's just a small kind of buckle with a point in the middle pointing towards the center, but not quite getting there. And then we've got a couple of, I don't really know what these are, just little aesthetic pads on the side of her hips, I suppose. I guess maybe it's armor, I don't know. I didn't build the original costume, so I couldn't possibly tell you. But she's got these little kind of pads or little pieces of armor on either side of her hip, just there. Okay, so onto the legs. We need to draw in some shin pads. So right where the knee is, it's going to be about halfway down the leg, of course. We're going to draw some kind of like squares, but they're a bit softer on the sides. So you can see how I've drawn mine. The corners are a little bit kind of curved. They're a bit softer than usual. Don't draw too hard a square there once you've drawn the knee pads in. So once we've got the knee pads, we can actually draw the boots. So diagonally down, across, and diagonally up. So you get that kind of shape going on there. So I'll just show that again. Diagonally down, across, and diagonally up at the very, very end. Now we'll draw in some soles for her shoes. So that's the bit right at the bottom. We're going to come away from the toe to the heel just with a nice straight line. And on this side I'm going to go heel toe. I always find it a bit easier to draw left to right than right to left. Now there's a little bit of a line here just where the ankle is. Again, I guess it's a bit of armor on her legs. And then if you like, you can add a few more details here. I'm going to add a line that kind of zigzags down here towards the knee pad. Okay, get one on the other side so it's nice and symmetrical. There's a small line here you can add if you like, if you want to add a bit more detail. Just kind of like a trough shape. But overall, our drawing of Captain Marvel is done at this point, to be honest, or at least the sketch part is. So, you know what comes next. Get your Sharpie ready, because we're about to go over all the lines we want to keep. Leave out those guidelines, just go over those final lines, and we're going to have a really cool drawing of Captain Marvel. While you're going over your sketch with your Sharpie, it might be a great time to correct any last mistakes you spot as you go and fix them. And there you go. A drawing you can really marvel. If there's another superhero you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what character you'd like me to show you next. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a tutorial. Bye for now.